Welcome back to the news at 10. 130 young Nigerians have been trained on how to generate value from the time they spend on social media to contribute to national growth. At Digitest 2018, an annual ICT camp organized by Digital Peers International, the young techies explored the vast opportunities in the digital world, which the organizers hope would better position them to make giant technological strides.
Selling without borders is the theme for this year's Digitest, an ICT camp organized by Digital Peer International in collaboration with other stakeholders. Over the past 2 weeks, these children have sacrificed their summer holiday for what is said to be a robust information communication technology training.
We thought as an organization to help give a direction to our young people. How can they spend the time on social media to generate value and also contribute to community development?
Also present here are parents and guardians of the participants who get a glimpse of the transformation that has taken place in their wards.
This is our website, and it consists of our header, the body, and the footer. The header has our name, the cover photo, and the core button. The cover photo is very important because if any customer sees us on the search engine and clicks on our website, this is the first thing he will see.
The closing ceremony of Digitest 2018 also sees the presentation of prizes to outstanding participants and partners. The students between 8 and 18 years speak about their prospects.
To learn about digital marketing, how to sell your different businesses, how to post them on the social media accounts, how to post them on Google My Business accounts, so that people can know your business more and you can also be relevant to the society.
The lesson that we learned today will not just help us now, but in the future when we choose our future professions.
Since its inception in 2000, Digitest has empowered young people across the country, and for the organizer, this is the bigger picture.
Our own desire is that it becomes of economic value, that this program that we've had with them would generate income for them in their various homes.
The expectations seem clear enough. And with the right conditions, these young techies might just be the next big innovators in the global digital space.
From ICT to infrastructure, and some residents of Benin City, the Edo State capital, are appealing to the state government to pay attention to a street near the King's Square in the city. This follows the recent flooding of the road during a downpour in the afternoon. Commercial bus drivers who use the street as parking space had to seek help from others to get their vehicles out of the water.
Now should help us, they come and do this road for us. Like this is not good. It's not good at all. For long, for about 2-3 years, anytime when there is raining like this, every one of us, we are afraid though, they should come and help us, come and do it for us. We are begging them, not forced. We are begging them. It looks as if we are in a village now. This place just like river. People have been swimming inside this. So we are begging, even those people that know how to swim, they carry people across 150 to 200. We are here now. What about? We are begging.
We dey suffer. Because I hear the same on the load, ton by ton. Now we take the load for this plane. Because what the same more come up for Ring Road side. That's the position for him. I'm gonna call the load for him. Now, everything don't jab too.
Well, the United Nations Humanitarian Coordinator in Nigeria, Mr. Edward Callon, is calling for the release of the aid workers abducted in Ran in March this year. Callon, who condemned the attack on humanitarian workers in the northeast, says most of the aid workers are Nigerians faced with threats to their lives for giving aid to the affected population. He explains that 3 of the aid workers were killed in an attack by insurgents, while 3 others were abducted. He was speaking at a joint news conference with the Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima as part of events marking this year's World Humanitarian Day.
The United Nations condemns the killing and adoption of aid workers and urge urges parties to the conflict to enable the work of humanitarian workers and facilitate their access to people in need in line with international humanitarian law. The United Nations also calls for the release of the aid workers who have been abducted in northeast Nigeria. On World Humanitarian Day, I call on Nigerian leaders to do everything in their power to protect the people caught up in conflict. And I call on all who are concerned to join our campaign at the World Humanitarian Day.org to show that civilians are not a target. Together, we stand with the government of Nigeria in solidarity with civilians in conflict and with the humanitarian workers who risk their lives to help them.
And the governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, on his part, acknowledged the support of the UN body in tackling the humanitarian crisis in the state, especially in the areas of acute malnutrition in children.
We salute humanitarian workers for their demonstration of courage, sacrifice, dedication, and professionalism in the course of rendering emergency services to our people. We recognize with absolute sense of duty the critical roles continually played by humanitarian and development workers. This is why from 2011 to date, I conferred on myself the duty of leading all our engagements with humanitarian and development partners. My office has been very accessible in facilitating, where required, the delivery of humanitarian support. In some instances, I had to embark on numerous trips to Abuja, seeking presidential waivers for the delivery of emergency supplies like AIDS to attack acute malnutrition in children and other needs. I have always tried to address requests to facilitate support wherever I am required within and outside the country.
Let's take a look at some business news now. Here's Kayode Okikiolu.
You First. First Bank. Many thanks, Shettima, and you're welcome to Business News. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation plans to list about 40% of its shares on the Nigerian Stock Exchange as soon as the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill gets presidential approval. The Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Baru, who made this known at an energy conference in Lagos, says the bill, when passed into law, will make the NNPC a limited liability company registered under the Companies and Allied Matters Act as a commercial entity and vested with the responsibility of overseeing all of NNPC's current assets. Dr. Baru hints that the initial 40% shares shall be shared, or rather held, by the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, 40% with the Ministry of Finance, while the Bureau of Public Enterprises will hold 20%. The African Export-Import Bank has released its unaudited financial statement for the half-year period ended June 30th, 2018, showing a $21 million increase in gross revenue to $343 million over the same period of 2017. The result released by the bank today in Cairo is attributed to a significant 119% increase in fee income, while interest and similar income grew by 2% compared to its performance last year. The bank also reports total assets of $11.52 billion, total liabilities of $9.21 billion, while attributable earnings over the 6 months also surged to $110 million, beating the budget by 34%. And Sierra Leone's President Julius Maada Bio has appointed economics professor Kefala Kalon as the country's third central bank governor in just 1.5 years. Conte was appointed in July last year by former President Ernest Bai Koroma after the resignation of Kefala Mara, who stepped down in March 2017 to contest this year's election. According to a statement from Sierra Leone's government, Kalon replaces Patrick Conte, who was appointed in July last year by former President Ernest Bai Koroma after the resignation of Kefala Mara in March 2017. Let's head over to the stock exchange, where the 10-day consecutive day losses at the Nigerian Stock Exchange finally came to a halt today as investors take advantage of the drop in the price of some high-value stocks on the market. Let's now join Bisi Adebayo for more details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Despite a negative margin on the price performance chart, Nigeria's stock market climbed back into the 35,000 level following a 1.87% sharp rebound at the close of today's trading. The market's recovery follows the strong 6.8% rally by Dangote Cement after the share price of the industrial goods giants previously hit a one-year low of 214 naira but closed higher at 220 naira per share today. Components of the consumer goods sector also added support to the 3.51% surge from the industrial goods sector, leading to 236 billion naira recovery in the market's total value. Airline services is the highest gainer among 17 advances with a 9.88% price increase. Unity Bank led 24 losers, down by 10%, while NEM Insurance added 130.48 million units to a total of 374.31 million units traded for the day. And that's it on the Stock Market Report. I am Bisi Adebayo.
Thank you, Bisi. On the global scene, stocks on Wall Street closed Friday's session higher following reports that U.S. President Donald Trump and China's President Xi Jinping will discuss trade in November. But it's mixed performance for other major world markets. Here are some of the figures. And that's Business News for tonight. Many thanks for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu. It's now back to you, Ijeoma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Kayode. A combined security team of police, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the State Sanitation Agency, Operation Clean and Healthy Anambra, say they are intensifying efforts to secure lives and property in the state. And this follows the killing of an innocent citizen, allegedly by a police officer in Oka South local government area of the state. The security team say they are recording breakthroughs with their recent activities with the arrest of suspects, particularly a 3-member gang which allegedly specializes in child kidnapping.
The primary role of any government is to provide security for lives and property of citizens, as well as continuously find ways to improve the welfare of its people. One reason why the Anambra State government ensures the police force and other agencies work to ensure security operations are tight. At the police headquarters in Oka, the state capital, the Commissioner of Police condemns the shooting of citizens by police personnel, giving assurances that victims will get justice.
I want to assure members of the public that justice will be done in these cases. As all of you are aware, we do not and will not intend to condone any act of unlawful behavior exhibited by our personnel.
A breakthrough is also recorded in the arrest of 3 members of a child-stealing gang in Ogbaru.
We have a gang of specialists which the command and India Anambra indeed need to know about them. They specialize in stealing children, underage children.
In a separate operation, the commandant of the Civil Defense Corps is concerned about the alarming rate of which power lines and transformers are vandalized.
We protect Agokan and NIPP project. We protect Okuzu substation NIPP, Enugu Electricity Distribution Company in all its own depots in Anambra are being protected by us. But what is surprising is that in recent times, in each almost of these, we've made arrests.
And it's a different scenario at the Operation Clean and Healthy Brigade field, where a taekwondo team graduates after 5 months of training.
One of our duties is to catch those people diverting government.
The additional combat skills is to help the state sanitation team ward off those who attack them while doing their jobs of clearing shanties, which often leads to violent attacks on members.
The brigade, as you know, has been involved in combat operations against indisciplinary behaviors in our marketplaces, streets, and other public facilities. You have acquired this professional skill to assist in discharging your duties.
The state government is optimistic that the combined effort of its security team will help sustain peace and tranquility in Anambra State.
Still ahead on the news at 10, FIFA rejects proposed meeting with Nigeria Sports Minister Solomon Dalong to discuss crisis rocking the Football Federation, citing discrepancies in the composition of the delegates list. That's on sports. Do stay with us.